Hey everybody, it's your Professor David Britt. Welcome to MSOM 601. I'm thrilled to have you in this class. I'm thinking that chances are most of you, if not all of you, have had me in a class before, so what I wanted to do was give you an overview of what to expect over the next 7 weeks in problem solving and critical thinking. I say this about all my classes, but honestly, I think this is true. This is my favorite class to teach, and part of it is because I'm so passionate about critical thinking, problem solving, and really the lack of it happening in the world today. And so my hope is that over the next few weeks, you'll be able to develop a critical thinking mindset. You'll be able to establish a problem solving process that you'll be able to use not only here in this class, but certainly in your workplace and also in your home and other areas. And so what I wanted to do is give you a quick overview of the course. There are a few things in the course that I do a little differently than perhaps you've had in some other classes. So uh, let's get started. Uh, I say this in all my classes. Make sure that you always check the announcements every time you log in. I'm just in the process right now of building the announcements for this course. And so make sure every time you log in you check that. Also make sure you check your CSU email regularly as well. All right. So what I wanted to do is just kind of highlight what's going to happen in this course. I'm going over here to the learning modules. Let's start here in learning module 1. This may look a little different on the student view of this. This is my faculty view. So if this looks a little different, don't freak out on me. But because the content's actually the same. So um, this first week, I'm clicking on Read and Study. The way that I set the course up is I put under the textbook readings that you'll have 3 chapters to read. This is really important to note. This textbook is very, very technical in some areas, and it's important for you to understand the technical aspects of that. So just simply skimming the textbook is not going to cut it in this class. So make sure that you read it, you try and understand it, because we'll talk about applications all the way through. And then for each chapter, there is a lecture that's provided by the authors of this textbook. So here you have chapter 1 lecture. There'll also be a chapter 2 lecture, a chapter 3 lecture as well. Each week also is kind of unique here. The authors of this textbook put together a very short, maybe 2-3 minute video for each chapter as well. And so you'll be able to see them discussing the content and the main points each week. And then this is kind of neat too. It's called a sketch note video. Each chapter has a sketch note video, which is a whiteboard where someone talks about the highlights, and you'll be able to follow their writings as well. And so one of the things you'll see in this class is it will not be shy of content. So you will have a lot of opportunities to look at and to analyze and to read and to view all of the information for each particular chapter. So you can expect that in every chapter reading. There's a lecture, there's a video, and then there's a sketch note video. And then there is a problem solving lecture that I created. So one of the interesting things about this course is that it's really dual track, because you have critical thinking and problem solving. And so the textbook is going to focus on the critical thinking component, and then my lectures that I put together are going to focus on the problem solving components, okay? And so what I'm going to do over the next few weeks is I'm going to overview for you a 5-step problem solving model that you will be able to use as you go through your life, but also as you go through this course, because you'll see in a minute that you're going to be working on a problem solving case study over the next few weeks. Now, one of the interesting things about courses is there are hundreds of different problem solving models, and what you'll have in many classes is what they'll do is they'll introduce you to all 100 of them. I'm not interested in doing that. What I would prefer to do is introduce you to one and then have you use it. And so rather than have a bunch of knowledge about a bunch of different problem solving models that you never use, I'd much rather say, here's one that's simple, easy to understand, easy to follow, that hopefully you can use in your job tomorrow, in your home tomorrow, and so on and so on. And so that's one of the key things that we're going to be working on over the next few weeks. Okay. So that handles the read and study component. You'll see here there are tons of different things to take a look at. All right. And then typical deliverables here in week one. You're going to have an introduction where you introduce yourself to your fellow classmates. So make sure you have your initial post in by Thursday, and you have your minimum of two response posts in by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. All right, and then you'll have two discussion posts the first week. One's obviously the introduction, but from the Module 2 on through Module 7, you'll just have one discussion board post. You'll have one paper, and then you'll have an application, which is this problem-solving overview I'll talk about in just a second. One key thing to note here in the assignment for Module 1 is I'm asking you to highlight the critical thinking mindset and skills, answer these particular questions, but then I want you to communicate kind of where you are on this continuum, because anytime you start a class, I think it's important for you to understand, well, what kind of baggage you're bringing in, where you are, what your mindset as you approach it. And so for those of you who had a class with me before, I don't have people write in first person. That's kind of the quirky no-no, if you will, in academic research writing. However, in this paper, since there's going to be a personal application for that, I'm saying here that first-person writing is okay. All right? So just put these in the form of a paper. Make sure that they have a cover page, body headings, and so on and so on and so on. Okay? Any questions on that, let me know. And then here is the application / case study problem-solving overview process that you're going to be working with over the next few weeks. So I provided two levels of information here. We'll start here with the problem-solving case study instructions. So I've given you this. I would encourage you to either print it out or to save it, because what you're going to be doing is building a solution to a problem that you are facing. That could be a work problem, that could be a personal problem, that could be a family problem, it could be a problem that your church or other type of organization is facing. I want this to be something that you can use when you walk out of the class. And so you'll see here that I've listed some instructions. What you're going to be doing is building on it each week. And so in order to help you do that, I've created here, let me go up here, you'll see this problem-solving case study template. I've already pulled it up, so this is what it looks like. I'm asking you to use this template specifically, so don't create your own. Use this. You'll put the title of your problem here, solution recommendations. You'll put your name here, and then the date of the proposal. And then each week you're going to be adding information to this. So for example, here in Module 1, you're going to be providing an overview of the problem. And then the 5-step process that you'll be working through is highlighted for each module. So the first step in this 5-step problem-solving process is to stop and think. And so I'm going to have you pull some information here, answer these particular questions so that you have a clear understanding what the problem is. Step 2 that you'll complete in Module 3 is recognizing assumptions. And so you're going to look at, anytime you have a problem, there's some assumptions that you have that you bring into your analysis. And so it's important for you to recognize what those are. What are your biases? What are those things that you're assuming that may be true, may not be true? And then and so on and so on. I'm not going to go through all of these, but each week you're going to be adding to this document. So make sure that when you do that, you don't have a separate one every week. So you'll have Module 1 here, then Module 2, the input will start right below it, Module 3, and so on and so on and so on. All of that is included in these instructions that I provided as well. So here's the link. Here are the links to this information. And so my hope is that as you go through this, not only will you be able to understand critical thinking principles, but you'll also be able to develop and understand and utilize a problem-solving model over the next few weeks that you'll finish up on. All right. So that is the gist of the course. You're going to have discussion board each week. You're going to have a paper you write, and then you're going to have this case study problem solving model that you're going to be adding to each week. All right. I hope this was helpful. As you get in the middle of this, I'm sure you're going to have some questions. So, as always, bounce me an email, give me a call, whatever works best for you. I look forward to the next few weeks together. And if you have any questions, reach out. Take care.